Congratulations, Dana White. Congratulations. Jingliang is officially out of the rankings. I'm sure we all knew that this was going to come. I was looking Monday, and I always forget, like, oh, it happens on Tuesday. It happens on Tuesday. I don't know why it takes that long after all this time. But Jingliang is out of the rankings. According to plan, right? All according to plan. Hey, Song Yadong. I'm going to say, you better finish your fight, homie. That's all I'm going to say. End the fight. Trucha. Some dirtiness going on right now, but there's no surprises, unfortunately. It's on that I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. And that's how things have been for the longest with the UFC. And it's growing. Everyone's starting to call it WWE and whatnot. And back in the day, that was a compliment. Back in the golden age, back in the Attitude Era, who didn't want to be like the WWF? Scope, are you playing with me? But today, who you talking about, Ronda Rousey? Come on! Hey, you the man, come on. You the man. Appreciate you being here as always. Jingliang is out of the rankings. And who do you think is in? Daniel Rodriguez. Look, it's got a bad taste in my mouth. And it hurts. It's weird. It's like when it kind of reminds me of what happened with me and Oliveira. When I was rocking with that fool for the longest, telling people about and telling them, keep your eyes open, that fool's coming up. He's down there like 11th, 10th. Now I'm telling people, I'm telling you, he's going to be the champion. And then he got all Gucci'd out, and I was like, I don't even know you. You're like the Brazilian Conor McGregor. I don't even know you anymore. Fool's always like teetering on the edge of, is that fool trying to be the Brazilian Zombie, or is he trying to be the Brazilian Conor McGregor? He doesn't know who he wants to be. Ray, Grandmaster, how do you see Khamzat versus Colby going? I got Colby winning via fight IQ and experience. Khamzat fights with his heart, not his mind. Fool doesn't know how to, fool doesn't care, just throws himself in the fire. I hate to say it, I'm just going off the dome right here. I think Khamzat will kill Colby. I'm just going off the dome. If I spend some time, I go and do my calculations and my MMA math and whatnot. I look at the Wikipedias. I look at some old fights. I might get a more evolved conclusion. But just going off the dome right now, the last outings and stuff that I remember seeing from Colby, as much as that fool keeps getting hit, and he's starting to seem a lot more, and I don't know if it was after some of the Usman fights or what, and you already know how I feel about those Usman fights with Colby. I feel like a lot of the fight, he got the better of Usman, but I still think it took its toll on Colby. And I don't know if he has the durability to get through an entire fight with Khamzat. I think Chimaev might take that one. I don't want him to. He's becoming more and more unlikable as the days go by. I'm not saying I'm rooting for him, but Colby has disappointed me too many times. I see him rocking Usman, and it's like he can't finish. It's that attrition kind of stuff. It's like another Nate Diaz. Okay, full good. You hit him a lot of times, but then he hits you 2 times. You're on the ground. He chokes you out. It's not enough. But I do agree with Khamzat being very, very, very emotional. At some point, when you get the right mixture of someone being poised and composed enough, but also hits hard enough and is strong enough, that's gonna put someone like Chimaev on notice. But he hasn't ran into that combination yet. Dubsy Dabster, thank you for being here. Thank you for the contribution. Jingliang is out of the rankings. Daniel Rodriguez is in. Now, I know on paper, people are like, what do you expect, fool? Of course that's going to happen. What's supposed to happen with Daniel Rodriguez? We're just going to be mad at him and push him further down? He won the fight. You got to do what happens on paper. He won the fight. He's got to go up. The other fool got to go down. But look, here's the way I look at it. You might think on paper it makes sense right now to take Jingliang out of the rankings and push Daniel Rodriguez up the rankings. But I have a hard time accepting something making sense on paper right now if everything that led up to that thing doesn't make sense on paper. If all the shenanigans beforehand doesn't make sense on paper, you may say it's justified. It's justified that he's there right now. What do you expect to do with these fools? One of them won, one of them lost. It's not justified if everything leading up to it is unjustifiable. It's unjust. Injustice was done this last weekend, and all of us witnessed it. It was on the world stage for all of us to take part in. And I told I was saying it during one of the streams. I was talking about how when they raised Daniel Rodriguez's hand, he kind of squinted. He kind of made a face like he did the I was telling you guys, he did the Russell Westbrook. They raised his hand, he went. That's how we looked at that fight. I don't remember if it was Herb Dean or what, but even he was surprised. And I can't remember which fighter it was. I was telling you guys, sometime not that long ago, there was a battle, and these fools were just going at it, rock 'em, sock 'em, and they declared the winner. And I don't remember who it was, but the winner even said, he's like, Charlie, you guys got it twisted. I didn't win that fight. He won that fight. Do you guys remember who that was? Somebody needs to remind me who that was. They raised the fighter's hand. He's like, nah, I'm not going out like that. He won. I don't want that victory like that. He won. I don't want anyone calling me the winner. That fool won. Who was that? Because I saw someone in the comment section telling me, oh, what do you expect Daniel Rodriguez to do? Hey, iZone3, thank you for following me on Twitter. They were like, what do you expect him to do? Say he didn't win? Give him the fight? Because I was saying I lost a little bit of respect for Rodriguez because there's already a precedent for this kind of thing. Someone in the past already said, Chale, nah, he won. So Daniel Rodriguez could have done the same thing. Don't act like it's unheard of. Who was it? Someone saying it was a Cowboy and Anthony Pettis. Someone is saying quite a bit. There's multiple people saying it was Guram Kureladze. Guram, I need to look that up. I want to find that. Guram Kureladze. So he's the one that was like, nah, the other guy won? St. Pierre Hendricks. Say, okay, I'm going to look into that because somebody did that. Don't act like I'm crazy. Like it never happened. There was a fight before where someone got declared the winner and he's like, you guys are crazy. I don't want that light on me. And then everyone knowing I lost the fight. I didn't win that fight. Give it to that fool. What are you guys talking about? So when Daniel Rodriguez was like, what? I won the fight? And then they said that he won and he was surprised. Then he's going to act like after the fight, oh, I won that fight. I won that fight. Let's do a rematch, fool. You know they're not going to give you a rematch. You know they're not going to give you a rematch because even though everybody knows that Jingliang won, who cares what Dana White says? You know what was dirty? Dana White said in the post-fight press conference, I don't know if anybody caught this. In the post-fight press conference, Dana White said, Jingliang clearly won that fight. I had him winning. Jingliang won. And then after, when Rodriguez came out, one of the reporters was like, hey, yeah, Dana White just said that he believed you won that fight. I was like, no one's going to say anything? Nobody's going to call him out on this. Bunch of posers out there. They're all on the same team. I couldn't believe that. Nobody said, I thought at least Schmo, you're going to say something, but that fool went corporate. One suit, one button up, that fool went corporate, just like that. I can't believe, did anybody notice that? Mike Alfieri, he just gifted 5. He gifted 5. Congratulations, Abel, Abraham Avina, Wolf Kool-Aid, Jason H, Logan Cole. Hey, thank you. Thank you for doing that. That's crazy. But they're not going to give the rematch because it was boring. It was boring. Even though it was unjust, even though everybody knows Jingliang won, why aren't they going to get it? Because it was boring. Nobody wants to watch it again. It's unfair. It's not fair that it should happen again just to make things right. But it's not going to happen again because it's boring. It's just like Dana White. For a while, it was the thing. It was on all the forums. It was on the comment sections. It was on Instagram. That fool's jacked. Thanos. That fool was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Everyone's talking about it. It's crazy. They're memeing him out and everything. And then it got boring. It was old already. So then he started getting skinny. Have you seen how much weight? Dana White has already lost a full Dana White. That fool looks sick. I'm telling you, he lost so much weight. He could have been the one that stepped in with Diaz. And he should have. Because Tony didn't want to fight him. Clearly. Tony didn't want to have nothing to do with that fight. Corduroy G, Khamzat seems mentally unstable when he finally... he took it back. He took the message back. What happened, Corduroy? But I agree, he does appear to be mentally unstable. Did Khamzat just choke you out? Was he standing behind you? I agree with you, though. I'm on your side. Dana White could have easily stepped in against Nate Diaz. He got that. He been getting that weight down. It would have been like Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin all over again. You're going full WWF already. Might as well top it off. Give us what we want. Always talking about giving the fans what we want. You give us Tony Ferguson. That's the fight that we forgot that we wanted because we wanted it 10 years ago. What are you gonna do? You're gonna give us Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson Part 3 or whatever in December? What's the plan? Did they fight twice? Did they fight twice? By this point, they don't want to fight anymore. Tony Ferguson, I don't know. I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theories today. Some people are saying that he let Diaz beat him, that he just went right into that choke too easy. It looked like he could have got out of it. That fool is like, I don't know if he's got that drunken master style or whatever. He does it like involuntarily now. That same thing that he did against Gaethje, he just walks around the cage like this. Like if he, even when he's not bleeding, he's walking around like that fool's walking around the cage like Ozzy Osbourne. Every time Tony fights now, he's doing this thing. Like it's just like that fool got traumatized. He got that shell shock, from that one fight with Gaethje. It's like that's kind of like his thing now. And I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or I don't know if he's just all messed up. Corduroy G, I meant when he loses, I could see him trying to get a post-fight KO on the ref. Hey, that's a good point right there. That's the kind of individual that the moment something doesn't go his way, you don't know what's like all bets are off. Kind of like my lady. Like there's some people that like as soon as everything's fine, I love you, we'll go to the thing and you want to watch that together and then okay, Property Brothers and then everything's fine. And then the moment you're like, hey, I gotta do this, everything just I'm gonna move on from that. I understand what you're saying, Corduroy G. I understand. And I agree with you. It's become a big concern. That's why people are like, are they even gonna try to give him a title fight? Do they need to give this for like 6 months to a year, put him in therapy? Like obviously not physical therapy, like Sopranos style. And then like Tony didn't want the fight. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating. It was pathetic. Jake Paul does want the fight. And anybody that knows anything that's been paying attention, that's been plugged in could tell that that's what Nate Diaz was talking about. When he's like, I want to go out. I want to show these other fools how to do it. I'm going to do it right. And then I'm going to come back. He wants to fight Jake Paul. Contractually or based on this or that obligation or whatever, they probably can't come out and say it. But Nate Diaz obviously wants to fight Jake Paul. And that's going to be a hard fall for the NDA army. I think that was redundant. For the ND army. Does anybody say Nate Diaz army? Or does he just fall under the umbrella of the Nick Diaz army? Is there a Nate Diaz army and a Nick Diaz army and then they come together like a Megazord? How does that work? I always hear Nick Diaz army, but then it's like with pictures of Nate. So it's like, is it two different things? Misguided. We want to see GM in a Jingliang suit. Hey, someone's got to wear it. Someone's got to wear it. I'm going to have to go through my own weight cut. Corduroy G, welcome to the YouTube membership. Hit up the community tab for the extra content. Jake Paul wants to fight him, and that's going to be a hard fall as well. I was going to say a hard fall from grace, but I mean, we're not in a place of grace to begin with. It's already not looking good. It's not looking good. Even after Nate's victory and everyone be happy for him, people are still saying the bigger narrative than Nate winning is people saying how much of a bullet he dodged. That's the bigger narrative, and it's sad. It's pathetic. People are talking about that even more than him winning and celebrating and being happy for him and his legacy. The bigger story is look at what that fool did to Holland. It would have been even worse for Diaz. That fool dodged a bullet. That's sad. That's the legacy. And the way he dodged that bullet, who knows? I'm not buying into it. And again, I know some people, maybe I'm letting some people down because maybe you expect this of me. I'm not buying into the conspiracy that all these people were in on it. Because when you consider all the different individuals that would have had to be straight-faced and keep this thing afloat, nah, I don't think these fools are intelligent enough to be able to carry a conspiracy like this. What I do think happened, because his coach came out and exposed everything, Khamzat could have kept losing weight. The doctor didn't say, no, you're done. Stop it. Get out of here. Walk out of here with no shoes and no shirt and no seat. Just like that other fool that I can't remember his name. And that's why we have no respect for him and we kick him out of the building. Johnny Walker. Get out of here, Chimaev, with no shoes, no shirt, no seat. We're going to do you like Johnny Walker. No more weight to cut. That's not what happened. They lied to us. His coach came out. He was like, you see what happened was the doctor was like, oh, you guys probably shouldn't keep cutting weight. It's not a good idea. It's probably not going to work out best for you. I think maybe that would be my recommendation. And then he takes off, and the coach is like, "Hey, let's go to the buffet. It's over. Party time." Like that was it. That was all he needed. And then when you compare the things that we've been hearing about Chimaev to other people that have cut weight, what about Masvidal? When that fool had to lose like 20 pounds at least in 6 days, and that fool's passing out. They're carrying that fool around like weekend at Bernie's just so he could get to the match. What happened there? Khamzat wasn't passing out at every corner. What about that Aspen lad when she's over there shaking on the scale? And they were like, they put the caption like most terrifying weigh-in ever and stuff like that. What about her? She was able to make it to the fight. They had her keep losing. What about Cyborg? That video of her in the bathtub when she's all crying. What about that video? She looks all decrepit and everything. She lost so much weight. But Khamzat couldn't do it. The wolf, the beast, the smash machine, this phenom, he couldn't lose 7 more pounds? Do we need to pull Cyborg in and show him how it's done? It wasn't the doctor saying, no, it's over. We're demanding you. You can't do it. Get out of the building. It was the coach. He said, let's hit the club. And then Chimaev, he's getting upset now. And this is playing into what some people are finally acknowledging. He's a little bit too emotional. And he lets his feelings get the best of him. Because Khabib is coming along. The homie Khabib. He's coming along. And he's trying to give that fool some advice. He's trying to give him some big brotherly advice. He's not hating. He's not disrespecting. He's trying to give him advice. And some people just don't know how to take that. And he's telling them, hey, fool, you got to learn how to put the right people around you. You got to learn how to have people around you that are going to hold you accountable. You got to have the right kind of crew around you. You got all these fools just playing too much. All these fools wanting to make TikToks and just laughing and everything, and they're messing you up. And I know what a lot of you were thinking right now. A lot of you were like, oh, well, this is what you default to. You want him to be like Khabib in the bathtub? You want him to be like Khabib in the bathtub with like 15 of his homies? And you're doing them dirty like that, like implying different kinds of implications? Fool, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself if you think that Chimaev is not already hitting up the bathtub with Darren Till. You're playing yourself. Have you been on Reddit? Why do you think they call him Rub-a-Dub Darren? If you don't think behind the scenes Chimaev is hitting up the jacuzzi with Darren Till, you're playing yourself. And you're just on that one-sided, like, what's it called? Something biased. What's it called when you just look at I don't even care right now. You know what I'm talking about. Evil Khamzat Chimaev. Grandmaster, did you see Khabib criticize me? This is I don't even like Tiramisu. I'm going to get to that, Evil Khamzat. That's what I'm talking about right now. That's what I'm segueing into. Satsui. Grandmaster Khabib said Boris needs to be surrounded by Muslims. What do you think? Is his team a bunch of yes men? His wife Till letting him down? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's absolutely what's happening right now. Khabib's telling him you need to surround yourself around the confirmation bias. That's what I'm talking about, David Flores. I appreciate it. I'm having a brain bellow right now. I woke up and I didn't have my coffee. I was like, I just need to hit up the stream. Khabib's trying to give us some information. Fools are always hating on the way Khabib gets down, but you already know this other fool's doing the same thing. He's already building the same kind of narrative around him, but this was actually factual. And then what does Khamzat turn around and do? He starts hating on mini Khabib. And I was laughing about it last time because she straight up exposed him. She was like, hey, yeah, I saw him at the buffet. He was drinking a bunch of sparkling water, getting himself all bloated and probably downing dumplings and stuff like that. So Chimaev came out and he talked back to her. And he's like, oh, yeah, I love tiramisu. That's why my fight got canceled like 5 times with Tony Ferguson. He's got that misplaced anger. And now he's disrespecting Khabib because he's trying to come at that girl. That's that sentimentalism that we're talking about. Him being out of control of his emotions. Him not knowing how to control his anger. Him doing the wrong thing. Him being around the wrong people. Not even the homies. Not even the people that are just clowning too much, not knowing how to get them on track. The coach The coach that threw in the towel before the fight even began. He didn't keep eating because he wanted to fight Holland. He didn't keep eating because he didn't want to fight Nate Diaz. He didn't keep. I'm not into all that. He kept eating because he got no discipline. Because he got no sense of responsibility. That fool's immature. Come on. Hey, bro, I'm going to be at the DMV for like the next hour. Stay alive. Mini Khabib did I'm dirty. Hey, come on. I'm about to dip in like 2 minutes, actually. I'm going to cut it short. I already went like 5 minutes past what I wanted to. But have fun at the DMV. I already know what of a pain that is. Tyquarius McBarius, tell it how it is, Grandmaster. That's why they call me the Mexican Aaron Neville. If you want something to play with, go and watch the Weasel. Because I'm going to tell it like it is. Look at, I want to talk about one more thing. First of all, I want to make it clear as day to you. Chimaev could have kept losing weight. He was not as worse off as a ton of these. Go to YouTube, www, :/HTTP, youtube.com, and look up UFC weight cuts, MMA weight cuts, and look at all this torturous, ridiculous things people went through. And then Chimaev was like, "Oh, I got a cramp. We don't have to fight. No, I'm not gonna fight. Okay. Oh, I feel so bad. I just really want to rest. Okay, let's go to the buffet." What? He could have kept losing weight. They were trying to put it on the doctor. What's that fool's name? That legendary the referee, Big John McCartney. He came out, he was like, "Well, I know that referee. I know that fool." And then Khamzat's quarter's like, "Man, they put a name on him now. People are gonna start coming out with the truth. That fool's gonna say, I didn't tell him to stop." So he had to come out, he had to get ahead of the story. It's a PR move. He had to come out and he's like, okay, look, so they said that, but they didn't say that. So here's what happened. Oh, okay, so you stopped him. You guys didn't want to keep going. You didn't have the discipline to do what even Masvidal did. What? Aspelat decide. You couldn't do what these other people did. That's what you're telling me. The smash machine. You couldn't do it. All right. One last thing. The fake. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. I'm not a fan of Chimaev. I'm starting to like him less and less as the days go by. I don't think he's a likable individual. I did not want him. I didn't want either of them to win that fight. I wasn't rooting for him, though. I want to get that clear. I'm not a Chimaev fan. I wasn't rooting for him. But you got to stop with this fake high five nonsense. He did not do a fake high five. As much as I would like that to be true, I'm not gonna support. I'm not gonna be making stuff up. As much as I don't like him, I'm not gonna make stuff up. That'll be like if I was talking about John Anik, because I don't really like that fool. And I was like, hey, I went to a presser. I went to a UFC presser and I saw that fool John Anik. I had to go to take a pee-pee and I went to the bathroom. I saw John Anik backstage and that fool was blindfolded. I saw one of the rooms off to the corner, a little trailer. He was blindfolded and he was rubbing Dana White and Joe Rogan's heads. And they were playing a game. He was trying to find out who's who just by rubbing their domes. Just because I don't like John Anik, what kind of ridiculousness would that be? I'm not going to be supporting these silly narratives. It's games. It just makes our position look even worse. Hey, Seti, GM, if you would have shared your secret juice with Khamzat, he would have made weight. There are properties. There are properties. I was watching this documentary about Judy Garland because I'm a big fan of The Wizard of Oz. It's like my favorite movie of all time. And there's these, there's things within these concoctions that could get you to, they make you lose weight and they get you hyped up at the same time. So, Seti, you're in the know. You're in the know. You're on that Judy Garland. I appreciate you, Seti. With all due respect, GM, you're just wrong. Khamzat does have diet discipline. He's just on the Darren Till diet and training regimen now. That's what I'm talking about. It's a whole new thing. He's surrounding himself with the wrong friends. You know that friend that you got, all you guys do is eat together? You just play Grand Theft Auto Vice City eating hot Cheetos? They're on that kind of friendship right now. Let me tell you about my best. Look at the high five. Let me tell you. First of all, Kevin Holland, how dumb was it of you to even think of going for a high five with all the drama and beef and stuff that you had like that? Now is not the time to go for a high five. So if you're going to be in that situation and you're going to go for a high five, you're burned. You should have never done that to begin with. But let me tell you something. Khamzat would have did that thing with his hand even if Holland didn't raise his hand. Have you seen a fight in your life? Have you seen over and over and over again, whether they put up their hand to set up a jab, put up the hand to throw the head kick, put up the hand to switch levels and go for the takedown, which is exactly what a wrestler like Chimaev is going to do. Not only have we seen people do it since the beginning of fighting, we've seen him do it since the beginning that we've seen him fighting. You're right here, you go like this, and you go down. That's what they do. And just because that fool put his hand up, and by the way, I mean, I've seen it plenty of times. I've probably seen it more than most of you have seen it. He doesn't put it up like, or I'm going to high five you. It's nowhere near mimicking any kind of motion like that whatsoever. It was never anything more than a feint. Never at all played into that. Didn't raise it that way. Didn't extend it in that manner. Didn't have the body language like you. We've seen that before. We've seen those instant karma things. We've seen those taunting things where they fake. That's not what it was. It was fake down. And you'll see him do that whether the other fool has his hand up or not. You need to stop it. You need to stop it. We don't like him. That fool's immature. He's unprofessional. He's irresponsible. He's dramatic. Whatever you want to put on him. But that was not a fake high five. We need to let that go. And now you need to let me go because I'm hungry and I'm going to go to Jack in the Box. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching Mexican Martial Arts. Appreciate it. Good looking out. Late.